Alrighty, so the news broke, I think, as I was recording yesterday, but Tucker's back. You can't cuck the Tuck, at least not for long. He'll always come fighting back. Now, the first thing I have to say is I admit that I was wrong. I always try to admit when I'm wrong. I thought he would go to Rumble, but he's actually going to be putting out his show on Twitter, which wasn't really an option when I made the Rumble prediction. I thought Rumble was the most likely because he could just pretty much transfer his show, do the exact same show, or more than likely a bit of a different show on Rumble. He could have a guaranteed paycheck. But since then, we've learned complications about his whole contract with Fox and how they're basically trying to just put him on the shelf and silence him, but keep paying him. And they're going to keep paying him so that they can enforce the non-compete and make sure that he doesn't sign a deal with somebody like Rumble and do a new show. So in the meantime, at the very least, Tucker is committed to putting out, I guess, videos on Twitter that are probably going to be very long form, but legally they'll just be social media posts, which I imagine Fox does not have control over, and that wouldn't violate the non-compete because he's not competing. He's just exercising his right to free speech, which I said before, I thought was a very good option for Tucker. Hey, if he's already making $20 million a year, they can't stop him from speaking. He can say whatever he wants. And if somehow his speech violates the contract, well, then Fox would break the contract and quit paying him and say, hey, we're going to cancel your contract because we don't like your mean tweets. But Fox isn't going to do that because they don't want him to become their competitor. So to me, this is a plenty good solution. Tucker will be ostensibly doing a show for free, but he's getting paid by Fox anyway. So he wants to do a show. He's getting the money no matter what. So who cares if he puts out a show for free? I did hear rumors about this since apparently Elon has been testing out the return of Periscope for a while, giving certain select users the ability to live stream on Twitter, which was a feature that Twitter shut down a couple of years back. It was before the Elon takeover. I remember back when Periscope was separate from Twitter. It was its complete, it was its own app, and there was another one, Meerkat. These were the early impromptu mobile live streaming apps. I never really liked them because you couldn't pause, you couldn't rewind. I still think that live streams work the best on YouTube. On YouTube, if you're watching a live stream and you start watching it partway through, you can back it up to the beginning. You can watch it when the live stream ends. And you're in the middle of it and it comes to an end in real time. The recording will just stop there and you'll keep watching until you catch up to where the end of the stream was, and that's always worked very well for me in my schedule. Something like Periscope, I never watched anybody on Periscope because or even after Twitter bought them and it was completely incorporated into the Twitter app, it was right there in my feed. I could see these streams. I didn't watch them because, one, you couldn't back them up, and two, after they were over and you started watching them, there was no real way to pause and come back to them later. In my experience, when you clicked out of the app and went back to it, it would start over from the beginning, and you couldn't fast forward or rewind or do any of that and find your place. So my hope is that if Tucker puts out, his shows, it won't be in the form of that kind of a live stream. I hope that it will be a fully recorded video, or at least something that I'm able to pause. Please, I can't stand the whole. I never took to broadcast television. This whole idea of, we have to sit down in front of the TV at 8 o'clock because the show's starting. I could never do that. That's why I never really watched Tucker much before. If it was a big day and I really wanted to hear what he had to say, I would force myself to go turn on a TV and listen to his monologue. But that was a difficult thing for me. I don't consume media that way. And so I think I'm not the only one. I think that limited Tucker's appeal with a lot of people. and it will be much easier for him to find a newer and even younger audience, even though he had the youngest audience of anyone at Fox, if his content is widely available and easy to consume. Now, it being available exclusively on Twitter, I'm sure, is something that Elon Musk will appreciate, and Tucker could be, their new flagship and encourage more people to start doing the same over at Twitter. I think Elon has made it clear that he wants Twitter to be a platform that people can, that individual creators can monetize, and that he wants to attract people to Twitter who have an audience, and to build audiences, to therefore then get more users on the site, using the site, which is going to, help them with ad revenue and whatnot. And so this is good news, because it actually seems like Twitter is shaping up to be a competitor to something like Rumble. It's going to be another free speech broadcasting platform, which I will be happy to see. Because you need multiple options, because, when one platform starts to go dark, you need to have somewhere to go. And as long as there is competition, neither one of those platforms, or both of them, will have a strong disincentive to censor people. Because, if you're watching Twitter or Rumble because, they're free speech platforms, then all of a sudden one of them starts censoring your favorite creators, well, then you're just going to go over to the other free speech platform. So I think that in the future there will be a question as to the fate of Rumble. I'm not saying that, I'm not going to declare Rumble dead because Twitter is going to try and compete in this space. Far from it. That's not what I'm here to say. I'm just saying that will become a question in the future. Tucker is the first of potentially many. And now with other sites that have attempted to do something similar here, that have signed one big name guy, like I think wasn't it like DLive signed, I forget who it was, somebody I don't watch, some big gaming streamer was signed exclusively to DLive, and people had to go on DLive to watch this guy, and it didn't really lead to more people coming over and joining that site. So Twitter having just Tucker doesn't make it, a behemoth and, completely make Rumble irrelevant. Rumble has a lot of great individual creators who have been signed exclusively to Rumble. Now, that doesn't mean that in every case these are people who put out nothing on other platforms. I think that people like Glenn Greenwald and Steven Crowder will continue to have a presence on Twitter, and that they will start posting videos probably on Twitter if this is the direction that Elon is taking things. Now, additionally, in the Tucker department, it will be interesting to see what happens with his lawsuit against Fox that was launched in conjunction with his announcement of his new Twitter show. But I don't really think that is that relevant to the broader media landscape. I mean, it's interesting. But either way, if Tucker's going to be on the air, it doesn't matter whether he's being paid, whether he's on the payroll of Elon Musk or Rupert Murdoch. As long as he's getting his money and he's producing his show, to me, that's the important part. He's going to continue to have an outsized impact on American politics, which makes him relevant. So, with that said, I will see you folks back here tomorrow.